to chamber. This time, all members and guests in the gallery will please rise as we are led in prayer today by the gentleman from the 66th, Delegate Espinoza.
Let us pray. Father, you guide and govern everything with order and love. Look upon this assembly of your state leaders and fill us with the spirit of your wisdom. May we always act in accordance with your will, and our decisions be for the peace and well-being of all. Amen.
Amen. All members and guests will please remain standing as we are led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by the gentleman from the 28th, Delegate Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please join me as we say the pledge to the most wonderful country in the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members and guests may be seated. Reading of the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, Charleston, Monday, January 14th, 2019.
Gentleman from the 25th, Delegate Painter.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of the Journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read.
Gentleman from the 25th, I ask unanimous consent to further reading of the Journal be dispensed with and that the Journal be approved as having been read. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears no objection. So ordered. Introduction of guests. Gentleman from the 35th, Delegate Capito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are lucky to have a few pages from the great county of Kanawha with us today, and so on behalf of Delegate Byrd and Delegate Scaff and Delegate Nelson, I'd like to welcome the Blevins family. Today we have Cameron, Raul, Anna, and Savannah. So if they would please stand and the chamber would help us give them a welcome, I'd appreciate it.
Lady from the 32nd, Delegate Kessinger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm joined today by a friend from high school that I just saw today for the first time in 12 years, John Michael Rednick. He works with AmeriCorps, so if he would stand and the House would make him welcome.
Gentleman from 28th, Delegate Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Up in the North Gallery, we have visiting today Jack Woodrum from the Summers County Commission and the County Commissioner Association of West Virginia. Please make him welcome.
Gentleman from the 9th, Delegate Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the North Gallery, I have a very good friend of mine from Elizabeth. He's also a friend and a professional educator, a constituent, Kenneth Heine. You can please be welcome.
Gentleman from the 6th, Delegate Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the North Gallery today, we're honored to have the Superintendent of the Doddridge County School System, Adam Cheeseman, and also from Central Staff, Matt Alexander. Could we make them welcome, please?
Lady from the 36th, Delegate Eastep Burton.
Today I'd like to welcome Heather Foster and her group with High Rocks, Life Bridge, Preservation Alliance, and Energy Express. House, please make them feel welcome.
Lady from the 51st, Delegate Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can you please give a warm welcome to my youngest son, Devin, who is in the South Gallery. Please stand, Dev. And I would also like to welcome West Virginia University AmeriCorps Vistas. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 4th, Delegate Canestraro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have a special guest on the floor of the House with us today, a 10-year veteran and colleague, mentor, and all-around friend and good guy, and current Marshall County Commissioner, Mike Farrow.
Gentleman from the 51st, Delegate Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the South Gallery, I have a very special guest with me today, my mother, Janet Nelson Williams. If she would please stand and if the House would please give her a warm welcome.
Gentleman from the 19th, Delegate Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of myself and Delegate Ken Hicks, we have several pages from Lavalette Elementary School in Wayne County. If they would please stand, they are Kaylee Rowland, Parker Adkins, Lily Hammonds, and Avery Ellis. So everybody, please give them a nice warm welcome.
Gentleman from the 30th, Delegate Bates.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Each year, more than 3,800 AmeriCorps, Vista, and Senior Corps volunteers serve the great state of West Virginia. They support nonprofits, schools, service agencies, helping expand services for our constituents. In 2018, West Virginia named #1 in the nation for producing AmeriCorps volunteers, and Senior Corps volunteers serve more than 600 locations across West Virginia. AmeriCorps, Vista, and Senior Groups volunteers are visiting us today, including staff from the Conservation Legacy, which is a large national program headquartered in Beckley. Please stop by their tables in the Great Hall outside the chamber to learn more about what they're doing. Would the AmeriCorps, Vista, and Senior Corps members in the balconies please stand and would the House make them feel welcome and recognized for their service? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Further introduction of guests. Further introduction of guests. Reports of standing committees.
Your Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 2185 relating to the removal of animals left unattended in motor vehicles. Reports the same back with amendment with the recommendation that it do pass as amended and that the second reference to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with.
Report to be received. Lady from the 49th.
Mr. Speaker, the two chairs have conferred on this matter, and I now ask unanimous consent that second reference of the bill to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with.
Lady from the 49th, I ask unanimous consent that the second reading of House Bill 2185 to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears no objection. So ordered. Further committee reports.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 2204 prohibiting state licensing boards from hiring lobbyists. Reports the same back with recommendation that it do pass, that it be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Report to be received. Bill be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 2307 relating to creating a provisional license for practicing barbering and cosmetology. Reports back at committee substitute, therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 2191 relating generally to limited video lottery. Reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, that it be referred to Committee on Finance.
Report will be received. Bill be referred to the Committee on Finance. Further committee reports. Reports to select committees. Messages from the Executive. Messages from the Senate. Resolutions.
House Concurrent Resolution 4, Gold Star Families Highway.
Lady from the 49th.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of the resolutions introduced be dispensed with and that they be considered as formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the chamber automation system.
The lady from the 49th asks unanimous consent that further reading of resolutions introduced be dispensed with and that each resolution be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committee as shown on the chamber automation system. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears no objection. So ordered. Petitions. Motions. Bills introduced.
House Bill 2006 relating to municipal home rule.
Lady from the 49th.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with and they be considered as formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees in the chamber automation system.
Lady from the 49th asks unanimous consent that further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with and that each bill be considered formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as shown on the chamber automation system. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears no objection. So ordered. Unfinished business. Bills on third reading. Bills on second reading.
House Bill 2164, clarifying that appeals to the Supreme Court are a matter of right.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced to third reading.
House Bill 2351, relating to regulating prior authorizations.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced to third reading. Bills on first reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 2028, limiting supervision of laying of lines on state rights-of-way.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 2038, relating to the procedure to determine if an occupation or profession should be regulated.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 2128, allowing state employees to take paid leave to attend parent-teacher conference for their children.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 2183, clarifying where a charge of DUI may be brought against an individual.
Bill will be advanced. Leaves of absence. Remarks by members of the House. Introduction to guests. Miscellaneous business. Lady from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move, subject to announcements, that the House adjourn until 11 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, January 16th, 2019.
Lady from the 49th moves that, subject to announcements, the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. on tomorrow, Wednesday, January 16th. Are there announcements? Delegate from the 10th, Delegate Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Finance will meet Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. for a budget presentation from the Department of Education. Your committee will also meet in the afternoon at 2 p.m. for a presentation by the Department of Administration, and at 3 o'clock from the School Building Authority. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from the 27th, Delegate Ellington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a reminder, your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet in the House Health Office Room at 2 o'clock. Republicans will caucus in my office at 1:30.
Gentleman from the 21st, Delegate Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The members of the House Education Committee are invited to a lunch and learn presented by the College Board immediately following session in the GovOrg Committee Room. Also, the Education Committee will meet tomorrow, Wednesday, January 16th at 2:30 p.m. in the Education Committee Room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 35th, Delegate Capito.
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., the Committee on the Judiciary will meet in the committee room and the agenda will be posted.
Lady from the 38th, Delegate Graves.
Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Pensions and Retirement is meeting today at 4 o'clock, and the agenda is posted.
Gentleman from the 28th, Delegate Pack.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Government Organization will meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the House Government Organization Committee Room. The agenda will be posted. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, Republican members of this House will caucus here in the chamber at 12 p.m. today.
Gentleman from the 16th, Delegate Limble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Technology and Infrastructure will meet on Wednesday, January 16th at 4 p.m. in the House Government Organization Room. The agenda will be posted.
Lady from the 3rd, Delegate Storch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Political Subdivisions will meet today at 1 o'clock in House Education. The agenda is posted.
Gentleman from the 14th, Delegate Beller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Veterans Affairs and Homeland Security will meet tomorrow at 1 p.m. The agenda will be posted.
Lady from the 32nd, Delegate Staggers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Democrats on the Health and Human Resources will meet in room 230 East at 1:30 today. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 50th, Delegate Caputo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Democratic members of the House will caucus immediately upon adjournment in room 252.
Lady from the 49th.
Please be in the chamber tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. for the House panoramic photo, so be looking your best. And also, if you're having any questions about logging into the chamber automation system, please see Sam Rowe at the clerk's desk after session.
Gentleman from the 14th, Delegate Butler, in what committee room will the Committee on Veterans be meeting?
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. The committee room will be Education Committee room.
Thank you. Are there further announcements? Further announcements? If not, the question before the House is the motion by the lady from the 49th that the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. on tomorrow, Wednesday, January 16th. Those in favor will please say aye. All opposed will please say no. Ayes have it, the motion is adopted. The House is adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Titles and referred to the appropriate committees as shown on the chamber automation system.
Is there objection? Chair hears none, so ordered. Resolutions?
There are none.
Motions? Petitions?
I have a petition presented by Senator Hamilton from Deborah J. Roach and containing numerous signatures increasing funding for senior centers.
Petition will be received and referred to the Committee on Finance.
I have a petition presented by Senator Seipolt from the Taylor, Preston, Harrison, Doddridge, Marion, and Marion County Commissions with 16 signatures requesting that the West Virginia Legislature earmark additional funding to West Virginia DOH District 4 to cover costs associated with contracting core maintenance in all primary roads in DOH District 4.
Petition will be received and referred to the Committee on Finance. Further petitions?
No, sir.
Unfinished business.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 9, naming the U.S. Army Private First Class Winton L. Waits Memorial Bridge.
Resolution will be received and referred to Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. Further?
No, sir.
Unfinished business. Bills on third reading.
There are none.
Bills on second reading.
Senate Bill 10, relating to Second Chance Driver's License Program, second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be advanced.
Senate Bill 24, relating generally to local boards of health.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Senate Bill 27, removing restrictions on where certain traditional lottery games may be played. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Senate Bill 28, removing hotel occupancy tax limit collects for medical care and emergency services. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Senate Bill 36, allowing adjustment of gross income for calculating personal income liability for certain retirees. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 106, alleviating double taxation on foreign income at state level. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Senate Bill 177, Fire Commission rule relating to state building code. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Senate Bill 190, DOH rule relating to employment procedures. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
Yes, sir. The Committee on the Judiciary moved to amend the bill on page 1, section 1, line 3.
The Senator from Morgan County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent to explain the amendments in lieu of having them read, and unanimous consent that all amendments be considered as one.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered. Clerk will, or the Senator from Morgan County may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 190 contains authorization for a rule that was proposed by the Division of Highways. It was the only rule in that bundle, and when the Committee on the Judiciary considered it, the committee recommended the adoption of an amendment to define a term. The rule, as it came to us from Highways and through the rulemaking review process, uses a term premium time, and the committee believed that it would be beneficial to provide within the rule a definition of that term. And so that's what the amendment does. If adopted by the full Senate, it adds a new subsection of the rule at 2.29 and defines premium time. It says premium time means overtime paid at a rate of time and a half. And there's also a technical correction amendment in the what we need to adopt, and it adds the word time after the word premium on page 14 in section 12. Be happy to try to answer questions. Otherwise, I urge adoption of the committee's recommended amendment.
Question before the Senate is adoption of the Judiciary Committee amendment. Is there discussion? Is there discussion? Not, all those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the Judiciary Committee amendment adopted. Are there further amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
Not, the bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading. Further bills on third reading or second reading?
No, sir.
Bills on first reading?
There are none.
Introduction of guest. The Senator from Cabell County.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of my senior senator from the 5th, I noticed that we had some late arrivals in the South Gallery. We have the Chief Judge of the 6th Judicial Circuit, which is former House member Greg Howard, and to his left, the President of the State Magistrates, Michael Wolfel. Make them feel welcome.
Further introductions. Further introductions. Remarks by members of the Senate. Remarks by the Senator from Greenbrier County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to be real brief today, but I see so many friends and leaders in community service and volunteerism here today. I just wanted to take a brief moment to lift them up and thank them here today. This is Martin Luther King's birthday today, January 15th. And I'm reminded of his famous quote when he asked, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And Mr. President, today we have volunteer leaders here from across the state who have spent their life urgently and persistently serving others. They don't do it for the glory. They surely don't do it for the money. They do it because they believe in making a difference in their community. I see several friends here today who have spent the last 2.5 years of their life helping us in southern West Virginia recover from the disastrous 2016 flood. And I thank you all. I see friends who are here today who spend each day of their lives nurturing our young people. I see friends here today who spend each day of their lives nurturing the most vulnerable among us in West Virginia. These are folks who need help. And so I would appeal to my colleagues here in the Senate who are influencers and who are leaders in their community to please lift up these folks and the opportunities that they provide for service throughout the state. I want to thank our volunteers. I want to thank Mr. President. Thank you for the time for allowing me to give them a nod of support here today. Thank you all for your service. Thank you for your urgency. Thank you for your persistence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Further remarks. The Senator from Preston County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask unanimous consent that the eloquent remarks from the Senator from Greenbrier be placed in the appendix of the Journal.
Is there objection? Chair hears none, so ordered. Further remarks. The Senator from Upshur County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Based on the petition that I presented today on behalf of the senior centers of West Virginia, I'd like to express a few points on behalf of the senior centers. In the past 3 years, they've seen minimum wage increases from $7.25 to $8.75, along with corresponding benefits, with no increase in their reimbursement rate. Regulations related to in-home care have grown and increased the cost of doing business, with no reimbursement rate increases. Meal rates are unchanged since 2010. Lighthouse in-home care rates unchanged since 2007. Family in-home respite care rates unchanged since 2006. Personal in-home care unchanged since 2013. And the hot and cold trucks that deliver meals to the elderly throughout the state have been on the road since 2008. In my district, I have counties that are running trucks with 150 to 180,000 miles on them. But if these seniors centers are provided the proper amount of support by the legislature, those senior centers are going to do the unthinkable, reduce or eliminate service offerings, or quite simply, in some cases, are going to shut their doors. And I really appreciate the governor increasing the amount of the reimbursement rate for the meals, but we need to do a little bit further. And with the last year, the senior centers in West Virginia served 2.5 million meals and were reimbursed for about half of those. Now let me ask you a question. What restaurant could stay in business and offering meals and only getting reimbursed with half of their cost? And I think we owe them our support. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further remarks. Junior Senator from 17.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent that the remarks by the Senator from Upshur be printed in the appendix of the Journal.
Without objection. So ordered. Further remarks by members? Miscellaneous business. The junior senator from 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pending announcements, I move the Senate stand adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, January 16th at 11 a.m.
Are there announcements? The senior senator from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your full committee on finance will meet today at 3 p.m. the Finance Committee room, and it would be the Supreme Court budget hearing.
The senator from Jefferson County.
Mr. President, your Committee on Education will be meeting today in room 451M at 2 o'clock.
Senator from Morgan County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on the Judiciary will meet today at 3 o'clock p.m. in the Judiciary Committee room in the West Wing.
Senator from Nicholas County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Government Organization will meet today at 2 o'clock, room 208 West.
Senator from Marshall County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Health will meet today in the Finance Committee room at 1 o'clock.
Senator from Preston County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Agriculture will meet tomorrow at 2 p.m., 208 West.
Senator from Tucker County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Energy, Industry, and Mining will meet today at 1 p.m. in 208 West, and the agenda has been posted.
Further announcements? Further announcements. If not, question before the Senate is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until tomorrow at 11 a.m.? All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the Senate adjourned until tomorrow at 11 a.m.